Welcome back to the Automation Podcast. My name is Shawn, and today on the show, I meet up with Dennis Gonzalez from Prosoft to learn all about their new DHRIO Plus and Remote I/O to Ethernet gateway. Dennis, thanks for coming on the Automation Podcast. I'm excited to learn all about what's new with Prosoft. But before we jump into your presentation, can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Most definitely, Shawn. My name is Dennis Gonzalez. I am the product manager for protocol conversion, smart building, and modernization solutions. Um, a little bit more about myself. I have worked in manufacturing and industrial automation for over 30 years, 20 of them working for Prosoft Technology. Prior being a product manager, I was part of the engineering department, working as a test engineer, testing our protocol conversion gateways. Today, I will be spending 30 minutes or so talking about our migration solutions.
Yeah, and I think the reason, just so the audience knows, first of all, if you haven't heard, Prosoft was purchased by Belden. That's why Dennis's email on the screen. Of course, if you're listening, you don't see this, but his actual email is at Belden, not at Prosoft. So just a little history there. But the second thing I wanted to throw out there too is kind of how we got together and met was because there was a news story I covered on the morning show about your latest and greatest, converter, right? And so I had used those back when they first came out, and I was really wanting to know more about it. So I just want to thank you for accepting my request to come on the show and talk about these products.
Oh, you are most definitely welcome, Shawn. Um, yes, we do have a new solution, which I'll be going more in depth. But let's get going with the agenda.
Mhm.
First, I would like to give a quick company overview. Who is Prosoft? For those of you that you don't know, the solutions we offer. I will touch on our protocol converters, remote connectivity, and our industrial wireless radios. But the focus is going to be modernization and migration solutions. Provide a couple actual applications where our solutions help customers modernize their systems, and then I will, talk about our new AN-X4-AB-DHRIO. Finally, I'll wrap it up with some key takeaways. Let's get started. Prosoft has been providing communication solutions for over 30 years. From our protocol conversion gateways to industrial radios to remote connectivity. Our goal has been to increase the automation performance of your systems. This allows customers to raise productivity while reducing costs. Our modernization gateways help achieve our goal by decreasing downtime while providing flexibility. Customers can update their equipment in a phased manner, one node at a time, if that's what they want. Well, let's talk about two of our solutions. Remote connectivity to industrial assets is a game changer. Being able to access your PLC remotely saves you time and traveling costs. One can be here in California, like myself, and know what is going on with the system across the country, like in Boston. This is a great benefit for end users, machine builders, system integrators, just being able to get to know what is going on with the equipment anywhere in the world. We offer safe and secure to connect to remote sites via secure remote access or a persistent data network. Our industrial wireless radios support ultra-fast roaming. This makes it possible for a reliable run. And like if you want to run an industrial safety network like ProfiSafe, SIP safety over wireless, this is especially important for moving applications such amusement parks, automotive factory lines, or warehouses that are using automated guided vehicles or AGVs.
Now, for the audio audience, I know you can't see this, but that ultra fast roaming Dennis is talking about, that's 10 milliseconds or less. That's fast. Go ahead,
Yes.
Dennis. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no worries, no worries. I appreciate you, stopping me and letting me know, because this is, it's very important. Our protocol conversion gateways provides a mean of to read or write data from devices using the similar protocols. Let me give you an example. If you want to get your process information from an Ethernet IP controller and send that information to a SCADA system via DMP protocol, we have a solution for you. We have over 160 real-time protocol conversion combinations. We also have smart building solutions where information from sensors, generators, HVAC can be monitored or controlled using BACnet IP, Metasys N2, or BACnet MSTP protocols. I could spend over an hour just talking about the many combinations for the different applications we support. But today I will spend the rest of the time talking about our migration solutions. Our modernization solutions helps communication between Ethernet-based processors with legacy equipment, such PLCs, panel view terminals, drives, Flex I/O, all this type of equipment that can be found on a Data Highway Plus or a remote I/O network. When you think modernization, you probably visualizing a major project to remove all systems and replace them with new ones and extend the downtime, profit losses, the stuff you don't even want to think about. There's another option, doing a phase migration on your legacy equipment where you can update your system on your own time, minimizing the cost and the impact on your operation. Prosoft has a variety of modernization solutions. Our Ethernet IP to GE Genius Gateway. This gateway creates the candidates and associates them to tags in your RS Logix 5000 controller. Do you have a GE I/O device that you want to control using Ethernet IP processor, or you want to replace your 9030 processor? This is the gateway that, this is the solution for you. We also have the Ethernet to Modicon gateway. Our Modicon gateway allows us to monitor or control S908 I/O devices with Ethernet IP processors. It is followed with the Ethernet IP to Texas Instrument. Is there a TI-505 that you need to control? This TI gateway also provides automatic creation of the remote I/O list and generates the tags associated with your RS Logix 5000 controller or a compact controller as well. You want to update the Atomax DCS. We have a solution for you. Last but not least, the Ethernet IP to Adam Bradley Remote I/O or DH Plus, Data Highway Plus. This is the solution that I will be focusing the rest of the presentation. How to migrate equipment using Data Highway Plus or Remote I/O. You have a Remote I/O network that is running fine, but it's comprised of older hardware that has been discontinued and parts are just hard to find. Doing a rip and replace is way too expensive. Our solution enables the customer to deploy an Ethernet-based system in conjunction with the existing Remote I/O or Data Highway Plus network. This allows the user to upgrade the legacy panel views, their Flex I/O or drives, or even the processor, the old PLC5. Basically, upgrading your control system can now be done one node at a time and during your scheduled downtime.
Yeah, and this is not just your old racks of IOs, like Dennis says. This is for really anything that's sitting on remote I/O. So it could be a VFT, it could be an old panel view, one of those old original panel views or panel view 1200s, 1400Es and whatnot, even a standard panel view or a panel view plus, although I wouldn't do a panel view plus, or old Slick 500s. Yeah, so think it's not just your 1771 IO, it's really, because of the way remote I/O works, it's really anything that's sitting on remote I/O on the remote I/O side, and then really anything that's talking Data Highway Plus on the Data Highway Plus side.
That's exactly right, Shawn. So, as Shawn was saying, what are the benefits, of migrating instead of rip and replace?
Before we get to that, I have a special announcement. I've just released my very first book. It's an ebook and it's entitled Logic's Book of Knowledge. What I did is I combined all my Control Logix articles from the last 10 years into an ebook. I updated them, I added new pictures, and I made it all available for just $9.99. So if you appreciate what I'm doing, if you want to support the show and the channel and the blog, then please check out my brand new ebook, Logic's Book of Knowledge, which you can get over at theautomationblog.com/BOK1.
You're extending the life of your assets by connecting to your legacy devices. Prosoft solutions help plants connect rather than replace their legacy equipment. Like I said, this saves you time and money. Next, I would like to take a couple minutes and go over an actual application where our solution helped the customer with their migration. In the first case, the customer wanted to pull from 16 PLC5 processors and send that information to a Control Logix via Ethernet IP protocol. The issue was the communication between the two processors. The Control Logix is an Ethernet-based controller, and the PLC5 only communicates using serial either DH plus or remote IO. Well, our solution helped gather the data without changing the existing hardware, the wiring, and most importantly, the PLC program. This is an actual DH plus application. The next one, this is our second case, it's a RIO application. In this case, a brewery decided to upgrade the very old PLC2 controller to newer Compact Logix controller, and they didn't want to replace the 1771 remote racks. So one of the biggest hurdle was time. They only had a few days to do it. Our solution gateway allowed a great level of flexibility, so the different racks could be moved onto Ethernet IP network and can be controlled by different PLCs if necessary. These are just two samples where our solutions have helped customers migrate their systems. Next, I will talk about our new AN-X4-AB-DHRIO. Okay, to the left is the hardware specs. Basically, you have a power connector, an Ethernet port, and a 3-pin network connector that can be communicate either DH plus or remote IO, Bluehost, you name it, whichever network you're in. To the right, there's a full functionalities that we'll go over in the next few slides. But the biggest thing to remember is that you do not need to touch the PLC code. This saves engineering time while you're doing the migrating.
Now, I want to jump in here for a second, Dennis. One of the things that in the first application example, you talked about the Ethernet to data highway. I think one of the things people will say, well, Shawn, Dennis, I could have just put a Control Logix gateway out there. And that's true. But here's the thing. You would need room for a 4-slot rack, a power supply, an Ethernet card, and a Data Highway Plus card if you can still get the Data Highway Plus card. That's a lot. That's expensive, and it's a lot of space. This little AN-X4, this is about, for those who are listening, it's about the size of your typical IO card, your Control Logix IO card, and thin rail mountable if you want to. And so it takes up a lot less space in it. The price, I mean, this is not the same price as 2 network cards, a chassis, and a power supply. So there are times when putting this in is actually preferred over trying to put it. Now, again, if you have 20 DH plus runs coming back to your office, then yeah, maybe a chassis with a bunch of modules makes sense. But in most cases, that's not going to be how your system's laid out. So dropping these in with you have Ethernet and Data Highway Plus or Ethernet and Remote IO can be a better solution than trying to put a gateway everywhere. So I just wanted to throw that out there, Dennis.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad you did mention those because yes, there's other options, and in the long run, it'll cost you way more than a simple gateway.
Yeah.
Well, the first sample that I got is you want to program your PLC or SLC using this gateway. Basically, you got a terminal that is communicating to your Ethernet IP network, and then you have on the other side you could access whatever you have on the either an SLC, a PLC5, PLC2, whatever is on the DH Plus network. You can access and program. It supports the older bar rates 57.6. It's up to the new one, the 230K.
And I think an important thing on this slide is this works through RS Link. So you're going to see it's going to look like a real gateway in RS Links. You're going to see Ethernet coming in, and then you're going to see DH Plus coming out. You're going to see all your devices on DH Plus.
Exactly. An example, I just want to emphasize how you want to upgrade a panel view, an old panel view to the new panel view plus 6 or panel view plus 7, without changing your PLC code. This one supports up to 8 panel views on the same network.
Yeah, so this would be like, let's say all you can get is a panel view plus 7. All that has is Ethernet, right? But your old panel view was talking DH plus to your PLC5, so just like 504s, right? So now we're using the same AN-X4 in reverse, where it's not the PC that's talking through Ethernet, but it's the panel view talking through Ethernet to the Data Highway Plus network. So that can be a great, I know there have been several situations where people can only get the panel view plus 7, so there's no DH plus option on it. So this is an option. Dennis, I don't actually think I've used it this way before, but this would be something we may want to get like a tech note or something to share with the audience after the fact.
Oh, most definitely. We could get that going, but this is a common, it's, they want to upgrade all the terminals, and the older terminals do not support Ethernet. So what do? Basically, buy a new panel view plus and connect it to our gateway and up and running with no code changes. The next mode that I wanted to discuss is where the gateway is collecting data from a legacy SLC 500 or legacy PLC 5 using Ethernet IP controller and bringing that information to Control Logic 5000 or a Compact Logics. This same setup was highlighted in the actual customer application where the customer is pulling information from the 16 PLC5s and getting all that information into one controller. And finally, the last one is basically similar to the DH Plus. This time, we're upgrading a panel view plus using the Bluehost or Rio communications.
Yeah, and this one I think would probably be the trickiest to do. So you got a PLC5 or SLC 500, but more likely a PLC5, and on its Bluehost, it used to talk to a legacy panel view on remote I/O, which were always painful to program. But now you can actually put the AN-X4 in and put a panel view plus on Ethernet and have it mapped to the old remote I/O, where the old remote I/O panel view used to be. So you don't have to change. And the big thing here is not having to change the program in your PLC5, right? It was block transferring to a panel view and maybe rack 5, group 0 through 7, and you don't want to change that. But you do have to replace the old screen. Maybe it's broken. Maybe somebody put a hammer through it. So how do you take a new panel view plus 7 or 6 and on Ethernet and have it emulate that old remote I/O panel view? And this is a great way. This is a great way to do that. And this is another one where we'd probably want to share a tech note with our audience on, how do you actually go about doing that?
Most definitely. Thank you, Shawn. I really appreciate the feedback you provided. Many applications are using legacy equipment that communicate using serial protocols like Data Highway Plus and Remote I/O. Migrating all that equipment in a large operation can be quite expensive and time-consuming. Water and wastewater, for example, their networks use DH Plus and Remote I/O to communicate to PLC5s and SLC 500s. But other applications such paper mills, breweries, mining operations have this same type of networks. Our solution allows modernization to your operation in a fraction of the cost of a rip and replace project. So why Prosoft? Prosoft has been providing solutions for many communication challenges customers face for over 30 years. We have a top-notch customer technical support team that will help you each step of the way. We have over 160 combination of protocol conversion solutions. When using our AN-X4-AB-DHRIO, you do not have to change your code or existing wiring. This makes it a no-brainer. Couple more slides, Shawn. These are the key takeaways. Basically, all PLC 5s or Rockwell legacy equipment at one point or another need to be updated. So what are the benefits? You're minimizing the downtime by changing one node at a time or two, or changing on your own time on schedule. It provides production cost savings by increasing your reliability. It's less expensive, and it decreases engineering and commissioning time. A decrease in engineering and commissioning time is helpful, but the flexibility that this gateway gives the customer is what is more valuable. The ability to update a process in phases, reducing the need of a rip and replace of the equipment, saving CapEx expenditure while reducing downtime makes our solution, like I said, a no-brainer. Equipment migration does not need to be difficult or expensive. Modernize your process in a phased manner and on your own schedule using maintenance budget.
And I just want to jump in there too and say, if you have a 12-inch or 15-inch HMI, you're going to replace it, that's thousands of dollars, right? So that's not maintenance budget friendly typically. That's typically a CapEx, even though, for an end user, replacing a $5,000 HMI, that's a huge part of the budget. They typically have to go and get that approved. So when you're talking about these devices, you're much less than that. So a lot of times these can be fit in a quarterly or twice a year in the maintenance budget to do things that are more phased migration. I know that's helpful for those end users that are in run mode, they're not in expansion mode, and they just have to keep the plant going and keep making products. So that's where I've seen this was really helpful, because they didn't want to spend $5,000 plus the engineering time to redo the screens, because that's a big project. They wanted to put something in there that was a fraction of the cost that could get the job done and help them, take one step at a time. So I just wanted to throw that in. That's what I've seen in my experience.
Exactly. Very wise words, Shawn. Very wise words. That's exactly, what's going on. Migrating a whole, operation is gonna cost a lot of money. If you want to rip and replace, it's gonna cost way too much. And there's companies that are running 24/7. They cannot, stop the machines because they're losing profits on operations. The last slide. This is our North American sales team in the respective regions. Please do not hesitate to reach out to them with any questions about any of our solutions in modernization, smart buildings, remote connectivity, or industrial wireless. They'll be more than happy to talk to you if you have any questions.
Yeah, some of you may recognize Vic's picture up there. Vic has been on the podcast a couple of times before, and he covers kind of like the Northeast, from I think he covers all the way from parts south all the way up to parts way north, including New York, New England. So that's a friendly face there. And Dennis, I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, especially since you're all the way on the West Coast, to come on the show and kind of walk us through that. It's a very interesting product. I used the predecessor, And I know it was very popular back in the day when it first launched. So it's good to see that there's a new version out and that you guys are continuing that support for doing bridging those legacy DH plus RIO networks. Not that that's all you do. At the beginning, you showed us everything you guys do, including OTI, Modbus, Modicon, GE products. But it's good to see that you guys still offer this product.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Shawn. Like you said, I'm glad that you're familiar with its predecessor. Well, just to give you a little bit a heads up, this one will support all the functionalities of its predecessor, and eventually we're developing new applications.
Was there anything else you wanted to cover?
Just want to leave you with the happy faces of our sales team.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Dennis, for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode. I want to thank Dennis for taking time out of his busy schedule to come on the show and bring us up to speed on their newest Data Highway Plus and Remote I/O to Ethernet gateway. Now, if you did enjoy this episode, please give us a like and a sub. And if you want to follow me or support the show, you can do so over at automation.locals.com. You'll also find all my training courses over at theautomationschool.com. With that said, I want to wish you all a very happy, safe, and healthy week. And until next time, my friends, peace.